Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Narendra Krishnan ji. Sri Prasanna Acharya ji.
Thank you, sir. Sir, how much time my party has got?
You are having 33 minutes. 30.
33.
There are two speakers.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, it is a constitutional requirement that the Honorable President of India will address the joint session of both the House on the eve of the budget session. Sir, you know it better than me. The system immediately after the independence was that the President was to address in all the sessions of the House. But when Mr. Mavlankar was the Speaker, the first Speaker, I think, he was at the Lok Sabha, the first Constitution Amendment was made, and it was made, the provision was made that the President would be addressing the joint session on the eve of the budget session once in a year. And so therefore, sir, it is a constitutional requirement and it is customary also. With their all wisdom, the 18 opposition parties decided to boycott the address of the President. Many people asked my part. The media asked us, why you are not boycotting? My simple answer was, because it is a constitutional requirement. We have to respect the Constitution and we have to respect the head of the state, the Honorable President of this country. Therefore, my party didn't boycott this occasion, sir. Sir, I won with this House to express my thanks to the President for his address, sir. Though I have to admit, it was not a very inspirational speech. I don't think the contents of the Honorable President inspired the crores and crores people of this country. There was nothing. It was just a stereotype speech of the Honorable President. It was a track record of the government, whatever government took decision during the last 1 year, it was just a record of that thing, sir, only that thing. Sir, last year we celebrated the 150th birth anniversary of Bapuji, father of the nation. And Ahimsa was Bapuji's profound theory, which the whole world accepted. Ahimsa was his strength. Ahimsa was his principle. Ahimsa was his weapon. And with that weapon of Ahimsa, he could defeat the mightiest government of the world of that time, the British Raj. And sir, when we are celebrating 150th birth anniversary of Gandhiji, you must be noticing, sir, very unfortunately, in many part of these countries now engulfed with violence. What happened on 26th of January, it was most unfortunate. And not only on 26th of January, sir, if you see, during the last couple of years, there has been incidents of violence in many parts of the country. And we are celebrating 150th birth anniversary of that great man who was the profounder of this Ahimsa, sir. So therefore, I don't blame the government, neither the opposition, anybody for this, sir. We have to create an atmosphere for that in this country. We have to create a mindset about Ahimsa in that country. That is important, sir. And therefore, sir, what our suggestion is, my party, the Biju Janata Dal, and my leaders in Naveen Patnaik has been appealing to all the national leaders since last 2 years, has been appealing to all political parties, including the ruling party, to incorporate the theory of Gandhi's Ahimsa in the preamble of our constitution, just to create an atmosphere that let the people of this country again realize the Ahimsa is the best way out. Ahimsa is our principle, Ahimsa will be our weapon. And with that atmosphere, if we are able to create, I think we can be able to contain the Ahimsa, the violence that is going on in different parts of the country, unfortunately, sir. So therefore, sir, I appeal this government to ponder over this proposal given by Sri Naveen Patnaik ji. Sir, Odisha is as a whole, India is a land of peace. And if you remember, sir, Odisha, we are the place of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath, great temple is there. which attracts lakhs of bhaktas, devotees from all over the world. And sir, if you go back to the history of 2000 years back, Ashoka invaded Odisha. There was a war that was called Kalinga War on the bank of river Prachi. The river Prachi still exists. And during that time, lakhs and lakhs of people were killed. Ashoka invaded Odisha. And in that war, Odisha turned Ashoka into Dharmasoka. Ashoka was during that time known as Chandasoka because of his invading attitude. And Odisha turned Ashoka, the Chandasoka, into Dharmasoka. And from there, Ashoka accepted Buddhism and preached throughout the world Buddha's theory of peace, non-violence, tranquility, brotherhood and humanity. That is my land, Odisha, sir. So therefore, from that land, Naveen Patnaik has given the call of peace and non-violence. Sir, what has happened into leader of the opposition was mentioning in detail. What happened on 26th of January at Red Fort is most unfortunate. No Indian can appreciate this. Everybody has condemned it, sir. But sir, putting the whole blame squarely on few farmer organizations or few farmer leaders is not going to solve the problem. My suggestion to the government that a proper, impartial inquiry should be instituted into the incident. And let it be headed by a sitting Supreme Court judge. Let us know the truth. Who was behind all these things? How thousands and thousands of people were allowed to enter into the Red Fort? Who opened the gate of the Red Fort? What was the role of the police? What was the role of the local administration? What was the role of the farmer leaders? What was the role of the farmers' organization who are spearheading the agitation? And what was the role of the government as a whole? Let the country know it. We just can't sit silent by putting blame on certain people or certain leaders, sir. This is the most unfortunate, one of the most unfortunate incidents that happened after independence in this country. Nobody can appreciate this, sir. So my suggestion to the government, let government institute a proper, impartial inquiry, if possible, headed by a sitting Supreme Court judge, if possible, sir. सच किया है, ये देश के सामने आना चाहिए. हर भारतीयों का ये अधिकार है कि सच किया है जानने का अधिकार हर हिंदुस्तानी का है, सर. This is not a simple incident, sir. Unprecedented incident that took place 26th of January, sir. Sir, one of the main demand of the farmers, what is that? MSP. I don't want to enter into detailed discussion, sir. We have enough opportunity to discuss it during the budget discussion, sir. MSP is one of the major demand, and government is verbally assuring that MSP will be there. There is no question of removing MSP, sir. If government is prepared to give verbal assurance to the farmers, why can't government put one line in the big law, 3 big laws you have brought to this house? 3 farm laws this house has passed. So what is the problem? I don't understand, sir. If you assure the farmers about MSP, why don't you write 2 lines in the law itself? Yes. And give a legal assurance to the farmers of the country that yes, MSP was there, MSP will be there. Yes, it is a different question how government define MSP. My party has always been demanding implementation of the Swaminathan Committee recommendation so far as MSP is concerned in 2 cents. Government says they have implementing Swaminathan Commission report. We dispute it, sir. Government is yet to implement Swaminathan Commission recommendation in 2 cents. No. Even so far MSP is concerned, sir.
Prakash.
So my appeal to the government would be, you implement Swaminathan Commission recommendation so far as MSP is concerned. Government has been assuring since 1914-15 that farmers' income will be doubled. I would like to know from the government, this is 2021, how many fold you have been able to increase the farmers' income? What was the farmers' income in 2014 and 15? What is the farmers' income in 2020 and 21? Has it been doubled? If it has not been doubled, why? Can I not say that the government is failure? It is a failure of the government in this field, in this respect? So, sir, this is not the occasion, or there is no time to enter into a detailed discussion on this. Sir. Honorable member of LOP was mentioning about the Champaran Satyagraha, sir. I belong to Orissa, sir. He was right. At that time, there was Bihar-Orissa Assembly. Bihar-Orissa was one state. Gandhi spearheaded the Champaran agitation against the forceful cultivation of indigo, neem, by the British planters, because the cultivation of indigo was spoiling the land. If you go for cultivation of indigo, you cannot go for other crop for 4 or 5 years. That was the complaint of the farmers. And as he was mentioning, I don't want to reiterate it, a law was brought in the Bihar-Orissa Assembly, and it was referred to a select committee on the demand of the members. I don't understand, heaven would not have fallen if it would have been referred to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha. That was the demand. So, sir, and I think the demand of the opposition at that time has been vindicated by the Supreme Court. May not be a select committee, but the Supreme Court has appointed a committee. Of course, there is 1,000 question mark about the constitution of the nature of the committee, sir. Sir, you know Odisha better also, sir. You have several times visited Odisha. We are reeling under natural calamities. Sir, you will be astonished to know, during the last century, Odisha was hit by natural calamity for 129 times. Can you imagine? Cyclone, super cyclone, flood, drought. We are hit by a natural calamity for 129 times. And we have bravely faced it. That has severely affected our economy. So therefore, sir, and the last is the super cyclone of 1999. It devastated Odisha. So, sir, therefore, Odisha has been demanding from a special status, a special category state. And this has been our demand since last decades. We have been appealing to the central government to accord a special status, if not, at least accord a special package for Odisha, so that we will be able to deal with the situation, confront whatever the obstacles coming on the way of development of Odisha, sir. But that has not been done, sir. Sir, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, greatest contribution to the nation was the amalgamation of all princely states in the Union of India, and thereby brought political integration of the country, sir. And Patelji brought political integration after independence, sir. We got independence. And Patel, due to the effort of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, all the princely states amalgamated in India, sir. Sir, that political integration was done. But I think the task of economic integration seems to be halfway as yet, sir. Because economic disparity between states and regions still remain in this country. Yes, we have to admit there is economic disparity from region to region and state to state in this country, sir. Sir, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe are the most poorly served by the Indian state, and they are vulnerable to chronic poverty, sir. Uttar Pradesh, for example, and the eastern coastal states like Odisha have high concentration of SC/ST population, and these states are economically less developed than states like Gujarat and Maharashtra, sir. It is the reality, sir. It is the fact. It is no denying fact. Sir, but what is your special package for such states? That is my question. For that reason, sir, Odisha has been demanding for a special package from central government, sir. And, sir, we are a state all the time reeling under, as I said, natural calamity, and that is one of the reasons we are demanding for a special category state, sir. Sir, in the 0 hour, sir, you are kind enough to allow Mr. Sasmit Patra to raise a topic about women, strengthening of women forces in this country, sir. Sir, this House, this Rajya Sabha in 2010 have already passed the women reservation bill, sir. You are very much aware of. I think you are also that time member of the Rajya Sabha, sir. And that has not yet been passed in the Lok Sabha for various reasons. And the bill left in Lok Sabha, but the bill has been passed in Rajya Sabha, sir. Sir, this country is a great country, sir. And as you know, sir, women constitute 48.5% of our population. Just almost half of our population are women in this country, sir. But what is the representation in our parliamentary system, sir? Even in this Lok Sabha, sir, what is our percentage in the last election? It is only 14%. For half of the population are women, their representation in the highest forum of our democracy is only 14%. Sir, what is the global average of women representation in parliamentary forums of different countries, sir? It is 24%.
Please sit down
And sir, according to the Interparliamentary Union report, even countries like Afghanistan, they have in their parliament 27% women representation. Saudi Arabia, a Muslim country, 20% representation. Nepal, the smallest country, 32% representation. And Bangladesh, sir, 27% representation. And in India, the largest democracy of the world, with the second largest population in the world, we have only 14% representation in our Lok Sabha, in our parliamentary forum, sir. And in 42 countries, we find more than 30% women in their parliament, sir. And amongst the BRIC countries, we are the last. Among the 4 BRIC countries, we are in the 4th position so far as the women representation in parliamentary forums are concerned, sir. Sir, even Muslim countries, who are considered to be very conservative countries, even Muslim countries like Sudan, Saudi Arabia, as I mentioned, Pakistan, have more women representation than in India, sir. Sir, they are also underrepresented in different state assemblies. Therefore, sir, we have been demanding that government should come forward, and this government has very comfortable majority in Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha has passed that bill. So why there is hesitancy, why the government is hesitant to bring the women reservation bill? I personally don't feel, I'm not able to understand, sir. So I urge upon this government, and that has been demand of our Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik again and again. My leader Naveen Patnaik has been writing to all the political parties about that. He has appealed to all political leaders that let women reservation bill be passed in parliament. Yes, women have done excellent in administration, in corporate sector, in education. Everywhere women have, even in aviation, in air force, in our military, everywhere. So our women our mothers and sisters are competent, equally competent, and in some fields they are more competent than the men folks, sir. So why we deprive them? So therefore I urge upon this government, this is the opportunity. You have an absolute majority, comfortable majority in the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha has already passed the bill. So get the bill again, if possible in this session, and give the women of this country the right in the parliamentary, in our democratic system procedure, sir. That is the demand of Biju Janata Dal, sir. Sir, the Constitution has made provisions of state legislative councils. Earlier there are state legislative council in many states. Now also in many states there is state legislative council. And there is a bill pending in Rajya Sabha introduced in 2013 to have a legislative council for Assam also. Sir, my state, Odisha Assembly, has unanimously passed resolution and sent it to the central government for a state legislative council in Odisha, sir. There is no response as yet. And again we have been passing unanimous resolution. And that resolution has been supported by all parties. The Biju Janata Dal, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Communist Party, every parties who are present in the state assembly, they have supported it. So I urge upon the central government, sir, why making a delay? You allow Odisha Assembly to have a, legislative assembly, sir. Sir, you know very well that we are a multilingual country, sir. And in many parts of the country, many languages spoken. We speak in our mother. And sir, thanks to you, compliment to you, sir, we are all encouraged You are all the time encouraging us to speak in our mother tongue, sir. And it is unprecedented, sir. It never happened. And therefore, I feel, sir, many of the members, we are encouraged to speak in our mother tongue. And what is the mother tongue, sir? The first word we listen from our mother is our mother tongue. First word, in the language our mother teaches us to eat, how to eat. The language our mother teaches us how to walk. The language our mother teaches us how to do any other thing. That is the mother language. That is the mother tongue, sir. So there are many, it is multilingual country, sir. Sir, in my state, Odisha, we speak Kosali Sambalpuri language in western part of Odisha. About 11 districts of Odisha, out of 30 districts, we speak Sambalpuri Kosali language. That is our mother tongue. In Adivasi, Odisha is an Adivasi dominated state, sir. People speak Santhali. And the other day you are mentioning about Santhali, one of our honorable lady member who is retired, she used to speak in Santhali. And that is due to your encouragement, sir, only. And if I am correct, after she spoke in Santhali, you invited to your office and offered her a cup of tea. So, sir, this is encouragement. Sir, some Adivasi people spoke in whole language in Odisha, sir. So, my Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik has been requesting the central government to include Koshali Sambalpuri language, Santali language, and whole language to the in the 8th schedule to the Constitution of India. That is pending with the central government, sir. I urge upon the central government, kindly take decision. And other than these 3 languages, there are some other languages, speaking languages who are demanding to get a place in the 8th schedule to the Constitution of India, and government should consider it, sir. Sir, as you know, there are some coal-bearing or mineral-bearing states like Odisha, like Bihar, like Chhattisgarh, like Jharkhand, etc., sir. We are coal-bearing, we are mineral-bearing states, sir. And that is one of the main source of our income, sir. Odisha is a coal-bearing state, sir. We have enough stock of iron ore, sir. We have, sir, manganese, we have iron ore, we have bauxite, we have plenty of coal, and we get a royalty on that. That is one of the important source of our income, like this state, like Bihar, like Odisha, like Chhattisgarh, like Jharkhand, sir. And every 3 years, this royalty needs to be revised, which was done by the earlier government, sir. Sir, you will be astonished to know, since last 10 years, there has not been any division on the royalty of coal. Why, sir? What is the sin we have done? Why you are depriving of our income, our earning? That is one of the main source of our earning. We do our developmental projects out of that fund. Not only Odisha, even Jharkhand, even Bihar. So we have been demanding for revision of royalty on coal and minerals like, as I said, manganese, iron ore, bauxite, etc. But there is no response as yet. So therefore, sir, I will be urging upon the central. I take this opportunity while discussing on the President address to the Union government, kindly consider it. We are not going to fight with you. We are not at loggerhead with you. On many important decisions, we are cooperating because you want the development of the nation. And Odisha is part of that nation. Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh are part of smaller states, poor states, Adivasi dominated states. We are also very sons of Bharat Mata. Why this state materially attitude? That is my appeal to the central government, sir. Sir, the Honorable President mentioned in his speech about Jana Ausudhi Yojana. Sir, it is one of the best Yojana in the health sector, sir. I appreciate. And I thankfully, with my sincerity, the Honorable President and the government as well, about the Jana Ausudhi Karyakram, sir. Sir, for poor people of this country, the only remedy is Jana Ausudhi. And Jana Ausudhi can only save the poor patients from the exploitation of the multimillionaire medicine manufacturing companies, sir. And in the medicine, sir, there is a lot of exploitation. What is the cost of production? And what is the retail price of medicine? Even you take cancer, lot of exploitation are going on, sir. Sir, once upon a time, I happened to be health minister of Odisha, I know it. There is enough exploitation in the field of medicine. So, sir, Jana Aushadhi is one of the solution. It is very good scheme. But, sir, two things. Enough number of Jana Aushadhi Kendras has to be opened. Altogether now, there are 7,000 Jana Aushadhi Kendras in the country. It is a vast country and it is very insufficient. And most of the Jana Aushadhi Kendras, sir, I just, within 5 minutes, then Sasmit,
I have no
leave some
problem,
time
but
for-
Sasmit will do
Sure,
so.
sure, sir. I have discussed with this Sasmit, sir.
Okay.
So my appeal is more Jana Aushadhi Kendras would be opened. And second thing, sir, sufficient number of items are not supplied to the Jana Aushadhi Kendras, sir. That the health department should. And third thing is, unfortunately, the doctors are not very much inclined to recommend Jana Aushadhi medicine. The reason is best known to everybody. I need not explain it. Doctors are reluctant, sir. It is the bitter truth to recommend Jana Aushadhi medicines. What is the reason, sir? You know, I know, everybody in the country knows it, sir. I need not mention it, sir. Sir, another important thing the Honorable President mentioned about production of ethanol from paddy, from sugarcane, and from some other thing, which is going to help the farmers in a big way, sir. So my government, my party appreciate this, support this. But, sir, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan is perhaps not present here. I would like to compliment him also. He has decided to open one ethanol factory in my own place, Bargarh, at the investment of more than 1,000 crore rupees. The work started 1 year back. Now it has suddenly stopped. I don't know why. I want an assurance from the government that that should continue. Second thing, there is a moribund sugar factory. There are many moribund sugar factories in Odisha which are defunct. And ethanol can also be produced from sugar cane also. So I will request the government to kindly take up the sugar factory and convert it into a ethanol production factory, sir. Sir, another one point I will say, my Chief Minister has been requesting for an airport at Puri, the Dham of Sri Jagannath. Sir, you know, this is one of the 4 Dham set up by Shankaracharya. Puri is one of the more Dham. And every year, lakhs of tourists from all over the world used to come to Puri. And the the Konark temple, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is located nearby also, sir. And the Chilika Lake, as you know, the India's first Ramsar site is also nearby Puri. So Naveen Patnaik has been requesting to set up an international airport at Puri. The government must consider it. And another point, sir, about the clean energy cess. Sir, the entire cess from the clean energy is diverted for compensation, GST compensation. That is not justice, sir. So then what the coal-bearing state will be deprived of that thing? Therefore, we have been requesting that we must 60% share of that cess for the development of our students. And last but not least, sir, my submission. Sir, 43 years back, this country witnessed a people's movement. That was JP movement, sir. And sir, you are one of the victims of JP movement, participant of JP. You are a youth leader, student leader, sir. And many of the honorable members present here, beginning from Honorable Prime Minister, sir, many of the members, they were victims of emergency, sir. I think this government has very conveniently forgotten those days. Now you are in power, but you have forgotten JP movement. You have forgotten all those fighters who fought against the dictatorial rule of that time, who fought against emergency, and many of them are still suffering, sir. I know personally.
Right.
My suggestion, central government should give them some sort of recognition. Some of the state governments, they have done it. And I'm thankful that many of those governments are BJP-led governments. So why the central government is hesitant? I request the Honorable Prime Minister kindly consider it and take some decision, give some recognition to the freedom fighters of the JP movement. With these words, sir, I support and I thank the Honorable President for delivering a speech to the joint session of the Parliament. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prasannaji. Parties has to take care how many speakers they have, how much time. That's why I was suggesting that every party should allocate time themselves to their party colleagues and give it to us so that we'll be able to. Now I also been receiving some slips at my office saying that they want to speak tomorrow and all. And some people want to speak on 8th. 8th they can speak, but on a different subject, because by the time reply will be over on 8th. They have to understand that. Secondly, the request for tomorrow, there should not be any problem. But if everybody wants to speak tomorrow, then it will be difficult again. So parties who have got 2 speakers, one should speak today and one should speak tomorrow. They can distribute it, which day, who, etc. So, Tiruchi Siva.